Oh, that's going to do a lot of good, Mike. You breathing booze all over Judge.
I need something to steady me nerves.
It'll be fine. You heard what your solicitor said. You're in a very strong position. You just keep your cool and leave it to her you pay her enough.
Yeah, I know, but it's when Barlow gets all sanctimonious, it really winds me up. The thought of him bringing up my son... Whew.
Well, he's not gonna, is he? Listen, Mike, even if things go really badly today, this is just the start of the process. Adam's your flesh and blood, and he's back in your life. No one can take that away.
Yeah. Well, let's hope you're right.
Here, Mike. Take the smell of booze away.
They seem a little disorganised this morning, but we should be in soon.
Well, look at the state of him. Court welfare officer. Wouldn't you think he'd wear a decent suit?
Mr. Baldwin, I'm sure your interview with him didn't go as badly as you think.
Probably worse. Ruddy social workers, they're a breed apart.
Now, calm down, Mike, and you behave yourself. Do you hear me?
Hey, Barlow, how's it going? Where's Deirdre? Let you down again?
I won't be a minute.
Look at this. She's a piece of poison if I ever seen it.
It's a terrible thing for a child to lose his mother in these circumstances. He's going to need a lot of help to get over it.
Mike and I understand that, which is why we're particularly worried about his schooling.
I know your husband's keen on educating him privately, but throwing money at the problem's hardly a solution.
Personally, I'm dead against private education. On principle, of course. But Adam is having a very bad time at Weatherfield School.
You think he's being bullied?
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah. He denies it, of course, and puts a brave face on it. 'Cause lads like to tough it out, don't they?
Have you spoken to the school about this?
Well, we're trying. But it's not easy, considering Adam isn't even with us. Mike's priority would be to find somewhere very similar to Adam's old school, so he feels at home. I personally went to a very rough school, and I know how tough it can be if you're a sensitive kid that just wants to learn.
You seem to have thought about this a good deal, Mrs. Baldwin.
I think they're just about ready for us now.
Before you go in, can I just ask you both, for Adam's sake, is there no way we can come to an agreement?
I'm a reasonable man. Anyone will tell you that. But Adam's my son. He belongs with me.
What can I say? You've heard the so-called voice of reason.
Mr. Baldwin, this is a somewhat informal hearing, so perhaps you'd explain to the judge in your own words your view of the situation.
Oh, Adam's my son, and I appreciate that this must be very hard for him, and I don't want to appear selfish, but he's been excluded from my life. Not through my choice, but to such an extent that I'm virtually a stranger to him.
How do you propose to remedy this situation?
Well, I've since remarried, and my wife and I can give him the stable family home that he deserves. I'm a successful businessman, and I can make sure he gets whatever he needs, to such an extent that we won't have to rely on or touch any of his mother's property or money. That'll go into a bond for him until he's grown up.
Typical of Baldwin to rely on his money.
And as I work for myself, I can have as much time off as I want to be with Adam and get to know him as a father and son should.
As you may know, Mr. Baldwin, in terms of the law, it is usual that a parent should have primary care. And as you are Adam's surviving parent, that is not in dispute.
Yeah, but I didn't want to rely on the law. He's my son, and I love him, and my main priority was what was best for him. I mean, if I could honestly believe that he could have a better life with his grandfather, then so be it, but he can't.
The recent death of my daughter Susan was extremely tragic for us all. And I suppose the main reason that I'm here today is to ensure that Adam is cared for in a loving and stable environment and given a proper chance to recover from the death of his mother.
And you think that that is unlikely to happen if he's placed with his father?
I've known Mike Baldwin for many years, and I was not happy when my daughter married him. He made her life extremely miserable. In fact, it was she herself who decided, when Adam was born, that she wanted her son to have nothing to do with him.
She must have been a very desperate woman to take such a decision.
Oh, I think she was. I mean, he just wouldn't let her be what she wanted to be. He wanted to control her. He thought he could run her life like he runs his business. So the only thing that I can do now is to try to save Adam from a similar fate.
Is it true, Mr. Barlow, that your daughter also kept Adam's existence a secret from you as well as from his own father?
Yes.
Why was that, do you think?
She wanted to be absolutely certain that Mike Baldwin wouldn't find out.
And she couldn't trust her own father to keep such a secret?
Well, no, it wasn't like that exactly.
Then what was it? Would it be fair to say that you and your daughter were somewhat estranged?
Well, we live in different towns.
Glasgow isn't that far away, Mr. Barlow. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand that until a few weeks ago, you hadn't seen your daughter in over 12 years. Perhaps she was protecting her son from you.
That's absurd.
Perhaps she was just extremely paranoid. So your acquaintance with your grandson, Mr. Barlow, is of no more depth or duration than Mr. Baldwin's.
I spent a lot of time with Adam over the last few weeks.
During which time you've tried to deny Mr. Baldwin access.
No, but,
You're such a liar, Barlow.
Let me be quite clear about this, Mr. Barlow. You think your daughter was justified in deceiving her husband, and indeed continuing to deceive him for many years?
Some deceptions are justified. She did it for Adam.
Oh, come on.
Mr. Baldwin, we've already heard from you.
He bullied and intimidated her into submission, and he'd do the same to the boy. She left him because she had no choice.
Oh, come on, she robbed me of my son!
Miss Smith, if you cannot restrain your client...
Yeah, and what did you do when you found out? You hounded her relentlessly. She had to run from you all over again. She was so desperate to escape, to protect Adam, that she crashed a car. I mean, what's he going to do to a boy growing up with a man who's responsible for killing his mother?
Tempers are clearly becoming frayed. I think an adjournment would be in order, so that you can both speak to your clients.
All right.
What, is that it? He accuses me of heaven knows what and I don't get the chance to reply.
Mr. Baldwin, let's just leave it, shall we?
I thought this was a court of law.
Come on, Mike.
It's a flaming fiasco, if you ask me.
Ken, just stay away from him, please.
What's going off?
I thought you weren't going to do this.
Well, what do you expect? I'm not responsible for Susan's death. I wasn't anywhere near her. He's twisting the facts again, trying to use them against me.
I strongly suggest, Mr. Baldwin, that you get a hold of yourself. Until your little outburst, I thought we'd made a very good impression.
Well, the law may be on my side, but I mean he's not. Just look at him. Social worker, school teachers are all the same. Sanctimonious hypocrites, if you ask me.
Listen to him.
No, Ken.
Yeah, well, face facts, Baldwin. He might be your son, but you're not fit to bring him up.
What sort of home are you going to give him, eh? Stable? Deirdre's already left you. You're going to tell the judge that? Or lie through your teeth like your dear daughter?
Oh, yeah, and what's going to happen to the boy if he lives with you? You and your new wife, you're going to provide him with a family home? And does that include her having an affair with him as soon as he's old enough? Because that's what she's up to with Mark, wasn't it? You've got Adam lined up for her, too. I suppose she is nearer to his age than yours.
Nice one, Barlow.
It was about me, why can't I?
Lad's got a point.
I don't understand. Why do you hate each other so much?
Well, we don't hate each other, really. We just disagree about a lot of things. You see, the truth is, Adam, we're both very different people with a different outlook on life.
Well, that's something we can agree on.
Mr. Baldwin said I should say what I want. But when I talked to him, I got mixed up. Maybe I said the wrong things.
Oh, Adam. Whatever you said, it wouldn't have been the wrong thing. And no one's going to be angry with you if you just say what you feel.
Are you sure?
Certainly not.
Now, there's two things that we agree about.
Why don't you come with me? We'll get you a nice drink, and then we can have another chat, eh? You can tell me a bit more what you're worried about.
I don't know. If you ask me, you and your heads banging together, the pair of you.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Well, it was during that nightmare at Fresco's, when Barlow and I was cooped up in that storeroom.
But why would you tell something like that to him? You must have realised he's the last person you can trust.
Yeah, it's true, but I never thought I was going to get out there alive. I never thought I'd ever see you again.
Oh, Mike.
And I wanted you to know that if I didn't, you were... well, you were forgiven.
I meant to say, thanks for coming.
Adam and I have had a good talk. I think we've cleared a few things up. Right, so you can go and wait with your uncle.
Did you see the way that Adam looked at me in the corridor? Or rather, didn't look at me. And that scruffy social worker, I bet he's on Barlow's side.
I don't think it meant out the way he looked at you.
I reckon that he's told him he wants to live with Barlow. That's why he couldn't meet my eyes.
You jump into conclusions, Mike. I think this whole thing's made him very nervous. He's just a kid. Come sit down.
Baldwin's money. That's the deciding factor, you know.
I'll fight for him all the way, you know.
He's a boy with another business deal.
In my capacity as court welfare officer, I've met with both parties several times. There is obviously a good deal of bitterness surrounding the death of Susan Barlow. In these current circumstances, a compromise between the two parties seems unlikely.
Too right.
I understand, Mr. Bowden, that Adam has in fact turned up at court today, of his own volition.
Yes, Your Honour, and I did take the opportunity to speak to him. He is very anxious that his voice should be heard.
Well, are you saying that he feels he's not being listened to by his family?
When I first spoke to Adam, he was a very scared and confused boy. He's no longer quite as confused, but he is still fearful. Especially of hurting the feelings of those who've been trying to help him.
And does Adam have a preference in terms of who he would like to live with?
Yes, he does now. He would clearly prefer to live with his father, Mr. Baldwin.
As I've already emphasized, a child's wishes are important, but can, in certain circumstances, be overridden if it is clear to the court that the child is not best able to judge his own situation. Adam Barlow has had little opportunity to properly get to know either his grandfather or his father. He is a boy who has just lost the one parent he had in any way known. So, who is best able to respond to his situation and to provide him with the love and support that he clearly needs? I think, on balance, that the answer to that question must be his father. I therefore grant an interim residence order, in this case, to Michael Vernon Baldwin.
Yes! I don't know how to thank you enough. I don't, honestly.
Your cheque in the post, Mr. Baldwin. That'll do nicely.
No problem. Look, I'm sorry I lost it a bit
You
there.
don't have to explain.
Come here, darling.
Oh, no. Oh, I don't believe it. This is all your fault, isn't it, eh? Do you realise what you've done, you stupid...
Peter, behave yourself.
Oh, yeah? You're smiling now, aren't you?
Look, I know you must be upset.
What are you going to do now, eh? Go home and play happy families, are we? What are you doing, lining your next one up, are you?
You're sick in the head, you.
I suggest someone gets this guy out of here.
Come on, Peter, you'll have to help him.
Get off.
I know how you must feel.
I doubt it.
Right, then, I'll be round to pick up Adam later. All right?
Oh, Ken. I am so sorry.
Come on, tell us again. What did you say?
We just chatted about what was best for Adam.
You know, you are fantastic. But then I knew that. I never thought I'd have cause to be grateful to some woolly-jumpered social worker.
Well, your solicitor said whatever Adam wanted was always going to carry weight with the judge.
I didn't want to think too much about that, though. The thought of being rejected by your own son.
Well, he didn't, did he?
No, he didn't. He chose me. You know, when Barlow said that about Mark, I could have killed him, there and then.
Yeah, he's got a nasty gob on him for a so-called educated bloke, and as for that son of his...
Oh, yeah. Right, well, I want to put all this behind us.
Yeah, me and all. Mike, if I could wipe the slate clean, I would.
Consider it wiped. Gonna be a few changes around here, you know, living with a 12-year-old. I hope you're ready for them.
We'll cope.
Well, it took me long enough, but I finally got what I wanted. A family of my own, a son I could bring up my way. So I'm going to propose a toast to the Baldwins. All three of us.
To all three of us.
Mm.
Hiya, love. You can sit in the front if you like.
Go.
Hi, Adam.
Hi.
All right. Now listen, Barlow, for the sake of the boy, why don't we bury the hatchet? Preferably not in each other's heads. What'd you say?
Don't make the mistake of thinking this is over. I'm not abandoning that boy to you. Not now, not ever.
Suit yourself. I was just trying to make it easy for you.
What am I going to do, Deirdre? How am I ever going to get him back? I let Susan down completely.